Yo, what is up, guys? So today we're going to be showcasing off a Exodia Synchro deck that is super easy and consistent to pull off. You basically only need to go ahead and have one of these cards in your hand. It's at 3 and you can search it out. But anyways, really quickly, there's something I did want to mention. This is not sponsored at all, but I recently participated in Shadow Arena, which is a completely new game. It's a battle royale, not Raid Shadow Legends, okay? This is a completely different game. It's a full PC game. It's a battle royale game, and the game is really cool. And I recently participated in a tournament, and I actually won $1,000. We got 5th place. So the real question is, can we get 1,000 likes for the $1,000 prize pool? And also, yo, Yu-Gi-Oh, can you please step up your prize pool game? That'll get me back interested in playing competitive. But anyways, now that that's out of the way, it's just something I wanted to share with you guys. If you guys want to see more of that game, I do plan to upload it more on my gaming channel that's completely not Yu-Gi-Oh related. But it's just something I wanted to plug in because I'm really tired from the tournament. But I had a blast playing, and I just wanted to give him a little shout out because I think the game is actually pretty legit. But that said, let's get some gameplay of the Exodia Synchro deck. So the only card that you need to go ahead and have for this combo, pretty much, because there's a lot of other ways to go ahead and pull off Needle Fiber. In any Synchro deck, this is not that difficult to summon Needle Fiber. The thing that you need to have is Rescue Ferret. That's the other card that you need for this combo to work. And you can search out Rescue Ferret with Emerging Emergency Rescue. Plus, you can actually search out the card by other ways. And I'll get into the other things that I want to mention with this deck in a moment here, but pretty much the broken and star player of the deck is actually Beast of the Pharaoh. This card actually is super broken. It's actually utilized in a lot of different things, so we're going to go ahead and see Shooting Riser Dragon summoned over here. And that's going to act as, of course, our extra foolish burial, which doesn't really matter at this point in the stage in the game. It just lets you kind of play out through an extra negate if your opponent happens to have one. But I also want to give you guys some more suggestions to this deck when I hop into the deck profile, because I think we can make this deck even more consistent and even better than it already is. It can pull off an FTK very easy. Again, the only card that you really need to draw is the, if I can mouse over it, is the Rescue Ferret. The rest of it, you can technically Star Yuja and get the effect if you use 4 materials, which will require additional summon, but you don't need to use that effect if you have the Rescue Ferret. But you will have to have a card that gives you an additional summon, which you can use Dangers, you can use a lot of different things. But all it really comes down to is making Needle Fiber, which, again, it's not that difficult in any Synchro deck to go ahead and have one tuner and plus another monster. Like, it's a joke. It's easy, and all you do is you basically use the Beast of the Pharaoh over and over again. If that was too fast, I'm going to go ahead and play it for you guys. With 3 different duels over here, opening up different hands. So basically, you can use Steam the Cloak, or you can use the Lefty and the Righty. Those are both 1 card in Needle Fibers. And then all you need to do from here is just, normally if you have the, if you don't have the Rescue Ferret in your hand, then you try to get out another monster, Star Yuja, draw 4 your cycle, try to get the Ferret, right? But if you don't, you go ahead and Librarian, and you just try to RNG, get some draw power in, and maybe you can get lucky. But then at that point, you'll only have 1 Librarian, so it's a little bit more difficult to pull off the combo. Depending on when your opponent activates a hand trap, you might be able to play it out of 2. I would say 3 would be very difficult, but we can talk a little bit about other cards you can utilize. Plus, since Star Yuja, you can use it for chain blocking, or you can use Beast of the Pharaoh for chain blocking, because technically you can reset if you really wanted to. There's alternative ways, and I'll get into that in a moment. Like I said, we'll get into the deck profile. But what you're doing is you're using a lot of stepping stones to give you a free extra card. Coral Dragon, Charge Warrior, Krakosaur. Every single time you're synchroing, you're drawing 3 additional cards. So that makes your consistency go way up through the roof and makes things very easy, because Beast of the Pharaoh is actually what makes this quite broken. It is not a once per turn. It is also a card where you can target itself, so you can infinitely summon Beast of the Pharaoh with, all you do is you bring out another Synchro monster that is also a tuner, and then you just go ahead and summon Beast of the Pharaoh over and over again. Every single time you're doing it, you're drawing like so many cards to the point where, like, if your opponent happened to have a negation, you'll be good to go. Maybe you could maybe even make another board. I mean, when people see this, I would 100% expect Quasar, and then out of nowhere you get Exodia obliterated. It's crazy, and I think that it's a really cool mix-up. When I first did my Synchro Exodia deck using like the, Where Art Thou, Tried Right, you guys loved that video. So I think this will be a pretty cool deck to go ahead and again mess around with. Once again, Needle Fiber, and then your key cards are going to be, once you go ahead and go Rescue Ferret, Beast of the Pharaoh, Plug Spreader, and your Jet Synchron. Are your go-to cards, so you can go ahead and just get extra free cards. Another great extender in this would be 1-for-1 that can let you play out of a hand trap. But there's a lot of cards that I actually want to talk about that weren't in the deck profile that I think can make this deck even better and more consistent. Because there's just so much that you can do with this deck, and obviously you only need one Rescue Ferret, so you can actually utilize a lot of other cards that would make you discard. You can even maybe throw in Magical Stone if you wanted to. Get rid of cards that aren't useful, or again, Dangers I think would be excellent because that not only gives you draw power. However, with the Dangers, you do have to be a little bit cautious, and the reason why is if you open up with the Exodia piece and the hidden Exodia piece, that could become a problem. And I say could because you can technically use some other cards to recycle if you wanted to Avarice. You could do other things, right? But I think that there are lots of ways to play this deck. And again, every single time you're going for a card, we even see the Phonon Pulse Dragon, which is quite cool. You can go ahead and change the level. But there's other cards like Cold Dragon. If your opponent happens to go first, you're able to go ahead and pop a card. There's a lot of other cards that have some play to going second, although this is mainly showcasing off the FTK to show you guys how good it is. Again, it's just Rescue Ferret. That's all you need. The other card, you'll get it easy. But the fact that you can pull this off makes me think that you can make this deck even better. If you dropped all of like the inconsistent cards, like all the Exodia pieces, you could have an insanely good Synchro deck just on its own. So it's really cool that you have this like hybrid win condition in here. But anyways, now that you guys have seen the gameplay, let me go ahead and hop right into the deck profile, as well as talk about some other cards that you guys have not seen that will be quite great in this deck as well. So Emergency Rescue. Gosh, this thing is a tongue twister. This card could be excellent. It does require your life points to be lower, so if you do happen to want to play that, Destrudo could be a great card. The Lost Dragon, this would be a great card. Lower life points. You can even run cards like Upstart Goblin because it doesn't really like hurt your deck at all. You're winning with Exodia. Upstart, excellent Exodia. Again, it makes your life points lower than your opponent's. Heck, I was even thinking when I saw the draw power with the D heroes, you could play Draw Guy, you can go throw in Stratos for your, you can throw in Hero Lives, lower your life points, and then from there add this, and then that's an extra free card when you activate your D-Draw or Allure or whatever the case may be. Heck, you could even win with just Destiny Hero Plasma. This card beats people literally by summoning it and absorbing one monster, and it skill drains your opponent permanently. Really good stuff indeed. I think that there are a lot of, again, room for improvements. Dangers could also be a great improvement with this deck. Danger, well, any variant of the Dangers could be viable in here. You could even throw in Fabled if you really wanted to go ahead and you need Magical Stone Excavation. That will let you play through a lot more hand traps, because at the moment we don't have Called by the Grave could be an excellent card as well. Maybe if you really wanted to, you can throw in a couple cards like Nibiru, so if you can stun your opponent, or you could just throw in Dark Ruler No More, and then that way you can combo and your opponent really can't touch you, and you can go second and you'll be totally fine, because a lot of the times with this deck you're seeing the duel end with like, you know, 15-20 cards in their hand, which really shows that this deck can have maybe 2 or 3 extra cards if you want to throw in like some hand traps. But I think Dark Ruler No More would be the best one, because you don't really care what your opponent has, because you're just going to go ahead and obliterate them with Exodia. But those are some of the options out of the many, and if you guys want to comment down below what else would be good, let me know. But let's go ahead and hop right into the deck profile. So first up, 5 copies of all the Exodia, 3 copies of Dogma. This is Dogma Plasma are pretty much just used for the draw power along with Dreadmaster. You can de-draw these, you can trade in these, you can Allure of Darkness these. That's why that they are here. Seam the Cloak, excellent card. 1 card to go right into, of course, your Needle Fiber. And then we have Beast of the Pharaoh, which you're going to go ahead and special summon. Real easy. And like I said, if you guys want to play other great cards, one card I think I would highly recommend in here is 1-for-1. This card is just so good. It lets you get rid of like a card that you just like simply don't need, that maybe you just have in your hand, and again it's just not doing anything, and it can maybe get utility in the graveyard. Looking at Gloat Bulb, you can do Jet. There's a lot of other cards that could be great, and again it lets you play through a hand trap, which is excellent in the deck. But anyways, yeah, Steam the Cloak, Beast of the Pharaoh, Plug Spreader, and then we got 1 copy of Lefty. Lefty, unfortunately, only adds Righty. where is it? During the main phase, except for the turn was sent to the graveyard, you can banish to add a righty. Which is a little bit slower. Lefty isn't that great because it adds righty a little bit slower. Righty, as soon as you summon it, you get to instantly go ahead and special summon one lefty driver from your hand. It also this one has the ability to change the level, but the most important part is literally just gives you a 1-card Needle Fiber, just like this card over here. And then we have Despot 001. We've got the Jet Synchron, 3 copies of Righty, and then Glow Up Bulb, triple copies of Lure, 2 copies of Pop Up. These are all just draw power. And then we have 3 copies of the Trade-In, 3 copies of D-Draw, and 3 copies of Dark World Dealings. Another thing I want to mention with Pop Up over here, it sends up to 3 cards from your hand to the graveyard, then you draw that many cards. So it kind of cycles through cards. Then you can special summon up to that many monsters from your hand with different names that are Perform Pile monsters, Magician Pendulum, and or Odd Eyes, each with a level between the pendulum scales of 2 cards in your pendulum zones. But that's not going to matter. But it says if you do not special summon by this effect, you lose 1,000 life points for each card in your hand. That will also be something you can think about when you're using emergency rescue. That can also be a great option here. But for the extra deck, we got 1 Despot Jet, we got the Ravenous Crocosaur, we got the Riser Dragon, Deep Sea Princess Prima, Coral Dragon, Stardust Charge Warrior, Librarian, 2 copies of Librarian, and then we got Phonon Pulse Dragon, the Quandax, 2 copies of him. If you wanted, you could probably squeeze in another copy of Saryuja, depending on, of course, what you want to drop, but don't drop Librarian. Then we've got the Needle Fiber, or the Halki Fabrics, or whatever you want to call it, Linkuriboh, and Ala Mirage for our extra deck. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and yo, let's see if we can drop 1K likes for the 1K prize pool that we got today. But thanks for tuning in, guys, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure you guys drop a like on it, and if you're new here, subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on awesome Yu-Gi-Oh decks like the super easy Exodia FTK Obliterate deck. And if you guys want to see me in other replays, just like my boy Stardust YGO, big shout outs to him. He hooked me up with the gameplay. This is his first version of the deck. Well, actually, technically, he sent me in other Exodia variants, but this is like the first, I guess, newer version in 2020 here. Of course, we don't need the new master rule for this, and that's important because previous one we just summoned the Librarian without going for the Link monster, which is for the new rules, but this one works with the current rules, which is awesome. But yeah, shout outs to him. I'll leave them down below if you guys want to check him out, and if you guys want to check out Shadow Arena, again, this is not sponsored. I just legitimately am just hyped up about this game honestly only because I won the money cap. But no, it's actually a pretty decent game, and I've been kind of practicing on it, and I don't know, I might make it my next game. It's a new battle royale, and you know, battle royales are kind of like the hot trend, so we'll see how it goes. But anyways, I'll upload that on my second channel, so again, that will be pinned down below as well. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.